I found this really nice story in the Business Times. It's got a bit of history and it's got something new. This is a story called Philip Kapneck Cuts Another Ribbon. And Philip Kapneck was the Maryland trade ambassador for 40 years, actually. He reintroduced ribbon cutting ceremonies to Maryland businesses in 1976. And that was documented in a Newsblaze story, Ambassador Kapneck's Ribbon Cutting Creates Celebration. That's since been renamed to Philip Kapneck's Ribbon Cutting Creates Celebration. And according to this story, that so many ribbons were cut celebrating the opening of new businesses in Maryland that both Philip Kapneck and ribbon cutting are still often mentioned in the same breath. Maryland companies, large and small, love the symbolism of the special event to celebrate their effort in opening a new business. We see these days there are lots of ribbon cuttings, and it's a great time for people to get together. This story says that ribbon cutting ceremonies were Ambassador Philip Kapneck's trademark in the Maryland business world. Now, the ribbon cuttings introduce companies and people to a new area. This is good for the new business, and existing businesses are introduced to the new owners who can learn about introducing their customers to a non-competitive business. It's a win for everybody. And even in difficult times, the Maryland Department of Business and Economic Development and Trade Ambassador Philip Kapneck brought in some great results. This story tells us that in 2009-2010, 14 foreign-owned businesses with up to 250 new jobs started up through Maryland's effort. In addition to that, 225 new jobs came from US companies that moved, expanded, or set up in the state in that same time period. Now, one of the ribbon cuttings at that time was held at the University of Maryland in College Park. That ribbon cutting ceremony was held at the Capital One field at Byrd Stadium to celebrate the new luxury in-seat delivery service at Capital One field, and the venture was set up to create hundreds of local jobs. And in that ribbon cutting ceremony, Michael T. Joe, who was the president of First Down Mobile, celebrated with Philip Kapneck, Maryland Trade Ambassador, Robert Walker, who was then the Assistant Secretary of Business and Economic Development for the state of Maryland, and Stanley Goldstein, former president of the University of Maryland Terrapin Club. Now, in places all over the US, chambers of commerce use ribbon cuttings for many purposes, including to give new businesses a kickstart. And I noticed looking in the newspapers this week that that's going on a lot. And what those chambers of commerce do is they leverage off the ideas that Philip Kapneck pioneered more than 40 years ago. And in the past few months, among many others, there were ribbon cutting ceremonies for Weis Supermarket in Baltimore's Fullerton Plaza Shopping Center, the AHF Wellness Center in Temple Hills, Fanny Angelo's Cell Therapy Lab at UMD, and Anne Arundel Dermatology in Westminster, plus the St. Mary's County Airport Technology Incubator. This is a really, really nice story, and it can be found on the web. Just search for Philip Kapneck Cuts Another Ribbon.